Hi everyone, welcome to a video which I wish I would have had when I was applying to university, and this is about the topic of choosing between Oxford and Cambridge, because if you apply to universities in the UK through UCAS, you can only choose one of them. Now, I applied to Cambridge for medicine last year, and I just wanted to give you some insights from my experience as well as some of my friends' experiences when they were deciding which one to apply for. So my first point is to make sure that you look at the course structure as well as the subjects available, because Oxford has some subjects which Cambridge doesn't, and even some subjects with the same course name like medicine are ever so slightly different in their course structures. For instance, Cambridge has veterinary science, Oxford doesn't. Oxford has PPE, Cambridge doesn't. So you need to make sure that you want to do a subject that is available in one of them. Also, Cambridge has natural sciences and Oxford has a separate sciences, which is a major difference actually. And essentially you need to look at the details in each subject by going on the undergraduate degree webpage and seeing what modules they have and whether they really do suit your interests. Before I get on to the next tip, I just want to say in general Oxford and Cambridge are very similar with tutorials or supervisions and the college systems. So don't deep your choice, but also make sure that you make an informed one to give you the best possible chance of getting in and then thriving once you get there. My second tip is to look at colleges. I know some friends who literally picked which university they wanted to apply for based on which college they liked. So you can just research the colleges, go and visit if you're living near or if there's an open day soon and it's not corona time, and see which college just gives you a good vibe and that you can imagine yourself staying there for many years and just vibing there, you know. And look at the facilities, maybe look at the lecture people and the fellows in that college, see their reputation, their accommodation, their location, their vibe and site in general. My third tip is to don't let the statistics put you off applying, because for instance, Oxford Medicine has a less chance of getting in statistically. Only 1 in about 10 get in compared to Cambridge, where statistically 1 in 5/6 who apply get an offer. However, don't let that put you off, because if you're good enough then you will get in, and you will just, if you have the confidence, then apply to Oxford for medicine. Because my friend who applied to Oxford for medicine, he just had the confidence that he knew that he was going to excel at interviews and at the BMAT. So if you think that you can excel in those topics, then go for the university which has a lower acceptance rate if you really want to do it. I was a bit too scared though, so I ended up applying to Cambridge. Jokes. I actually prefer the Cambridge course structure for medicine, because in third year you can do any subject, whereas in Oxford in third year you normally have to do a research project or just a medicine related topic, whereas in Cambridge I could do, say, geography or music or theology in third year. And my fourth tip is just to look at the fellows in your college. I said this before, but I like this how my college had fellows which all had some sort of clinical experience, whereas in the college at Oxford that I was looking at, some of the fellows for medicine were just academic researchers and weren't necessarily medical doctors. And I like that the medical doctor schools also teach us and give us their views on, you know, just being a doctor as well as a scientist. My next tip is to look at the extracurricular life of the university. Oxford is slightly more like busier, kind of sort of more conveniently located to London in a sense. Not so much now because transport links are so much better, and it just has sort of a different vibe to Cambridge. Even though they're both quite small cities, Cambridge is small and just has a more like quiet vibe to it. And you can look at things like the churches there if you're a Christian, or the different sorts of clubs available. And my next tip is to just make sure that you know the admissions procedures. So I researched the Oxford and Cambridge medicine admissions procedures quite thoroughly, and I knew that Oxford weighed the BMAT and your GCSEs equally. So if your GCSEs aren't that great and you want to apply for medicine, I'd suggest you go for Cambridge. Unless you know you're absolutely going to smash the BMAT, then go ahead. But Cambridge is more holistic, so it interviews more people in general. So if you know that you excel at talking to people and interviewing, then I'd say have a shot at Cambridge. And also, but then if you go to Oxford and have an interview, you have more of a chance of getting in compared to Cambridge, because Cambridge interviews a higher proportion of people. You also need to look at the interview intensity, because for Oxford medicine usually they have 4 interviews each for each applicant, whereas in Cambridge you only have 2, and in Oxford you're interviewed at 2 colleges at least, and you normally stay overnight if it's a normal year. So I don't think I would have completely excelled if I had 4 interviewers, because I'm not necessarily as confident as other people in scientific areas, and I just wanted to get the interviews done and dusted ASAP. And my last tip is that generally if you want to go for it, then go for it, but if you don't, then that's completely fine too. And there's talented people anywhere that you go, and you'll literally just have a good time, vibe anywhere. I feel like even if you do get into Oxbridge and you don't really want to go, the workload is really intense, and that's something which I'm sort of not looking forward to if I do manage to meet the grades. But I guess it's also a good opportunity to be able to develop your independent working skills. And if you really think that you'll thrive in an environment which heavily focuses on essays and tutorials, I think why not go for it? You have nothing to lose, and you can end up with a good interview story to tell your kids or grandkids or something like that. So I hope this was somewhat useful. I'm definitely not an expert in Oxbridge admissions. I don't even know what it's like to study there yet, but I just thought I'd give you some insights on why I chose to apply where I did. And also another thing is to look at how many people are in your college for your subject, because if you want a large support group, it's better to apply to a college who has a lot of people in studying your subject. But if you're not too bothered, then it doesn't really matter. Because for Oxford they have less medics in general, so I just thought if I applied to Cambridge there would be more support around me and just more people to learn off and get advice from, just like being in it all together. And another thing to note is that if you want to apply to Oxbridge for medicine, you can't change to London for clinical years anymore, so you're sort of bound to either Oxford or Cambridge and the surrounding hospitals for years 4, 5 and 6. So that's also something to bear in mind if you prefer the big city vibes. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!